Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today is a very special episode. I can't fucking believe it. I am so excited. I'm going to be interviewing Polly from Teen Witch. Top that, Mandy Ingber. Mandy Ingber. I love saying that name. Mandy Ingber. And I'm going to have her on the podcast today to talk about Teen Witch and some other movies she was in, like Mr. Mom. She was on the short-lived Dirty Dancing series and so forth. And now she's a yoga instructor. And I'm going to find out exactly why did she become a yoga instructor. I have nothing against yoga. I approve of yoga a lot. I've never personally done it, but I know a lot of people who have, and it's enriched their lives. And I'm going to have her on the podcast to talk about all that stuff today. And I can't wait. Top that. So here is my interview with Mandy Ingber. I love saying that. Mandy Ingber. Hi, Mandy.
Hi, Tommy. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay? I'm on my cell phone, earbuds.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good.
Well, welcome to the show. It's such an honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Thank you. Are we recording right now?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I am one happy fanboy.
Good. I was gonna be really a total bitch, but then you told me I'm being recorded, so I better be nice right off the bat.
You can give me a little bit of Polly.
A little fast. She was not. She was more like a. She was a victim. She wasn't. I don't think she was She was not nasty. She was just a geek, right? She was like a nerd.
Yeah. So.
A duck left in the duck pond, as I recall.
Yeah. But going back to the beginning, though, I mean, you started acting very young. I mean, how old were you when you got the acting bug?
Well, let's see. I was actually not. It's funny. Somebody said to me, I ran into someone today, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a child actor." And I was like, I didn't think of myself as a child because I was a teenager when I started, so I felt like I was really mature. So I really got the acting bug when I was 9 or 10 in school. I was a really shy kid, actually, and I did I went to a new school, and they had theater arts in it, and I got on a stage, and it was this revelation for me. I didn't know that I was a performer, and so I got it then, and then I started taking acting class with Diane Hardin. It was the Young Actor Space, and actually Shannon Doherty was in the class, and Melora Hardin, and Stephen Dorff, and a lot of kids who actually became actors. So I was in this acting class, and when I was 13, I was convinced that I would never ever get a part because of how I just felt like every audition I went on, I did wasn't the right look or whatever. And then when I was 14, I landed a role in a Broadway show that was a Neil Simon Broadway show called Brighton Beach Memoirs, and I was in the original company. And we started here in Los Angeles, where I'm from, and we started at the Ahmanson and then traveled to San Francisco and then New York. And so I was initiated into acting actually through theater, and I kind of luckily got to go have that experience in New York City, where I really had only been there for one weekend prior to that, and I got to sort of have this really amazing actor experience when I was 14, 15. And then I came back to Los Angeles, and I, continued. So that's the age where it all started.
Wow.
For me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from San Francisco, and
you are?
Yeah, done theater out there and stuff. And yeah, the Young Actor Space in LA, I've interviewed Patrick Day, who runs it.
Oh, okay. That's a different person now, but that's cool. it was such a great acting class for kids because it was like they didn't teach us bad habits, which I think a lot of kids probably got some bad habits in class. It just was a really really supportive, really fun environment. We got to do a lot of improv, which was great. Just improv is such a great training ground too, and it was a lot of fun.
When you say bad habits, do you mean like putting chewing gum under the desk, stuff like that?
Yeah, totally cracking your knuckles. No, like that. Maybe mugging. Like doing line readings. Things that are not really organic. That's not really like how to work. So they kind of taught us how to. It just didn't take away our natural instincts, I guess, as actors. And then, it's not. I was lucky, just lucky.
Yeah, or picking a belly button during an improv.
Well, I think that I could do that if I yes-anded it, if I made it into something. I mean, my gosh, I could just, who knows, I could pull like a whole roll of yarn out of my belly button and, knit something with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Actually, that probably wasn't the direction you thought that this interview was going to go in.
Oh, no, I encourage political incorrectness.
Okay, well, so far I think we're pretty safe. I can go pretty far with that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So that's how it all began. And then I came back to LA after being in New York for that year, and that was with Matthew Broderick was in the original company. Jelko Ivanek was he's a great stage actor.
Mm-hmm.
Rich Van Patten, who played my mother, who also then became sort of my second family. Elizabeth Franz, who is a great theater actress, and Peter Michael Getz, who still calls me on my birthday. And
I love him. He's a good actor.
Oh, do you know? Yeah, he's so great.
I haven't been able to locate him, but I do like his acting.
Yeah. So a lot of great, just those, like, I got to hear all those great, like, theater stories and, participate in things, have an opening night at Radio City Music Hall and waiting for reviews in Sardi's and, it's like it's a one-of-a-kind experience for somebody like me. So then I came back to LA and I think the first television job that I got was Charles in Charge.
Right.
And I played this character called Enid, who was really, really into horses. And she actually became a recurring character on Charles in Charge. And I was even in the TV Guide crossword puzzle. Although it was like at this point 15 years ago, but still, like 20 years later, I was in the crossword puzzle with a Mandy Ingber role in Charles in Charge, and it was Enid. So I have like a whole section of people that are the Enid fans, who really were into horses. And then I got my first series, which was called Detective in the House, which was a series with Judd Hirsch, who was, he was on Taxi, and he was...
And Dear John.
Yes, Dear John. I think Dear John was after Detective in the House. Detective in the House was a short-lived series. I think we did 6 episodes, and that was an amazing experience. I had never done that before, so that was amazing. I played.
Go ahead.
Oh, I played his daughter, and she was a dancer, I actually went back and. It's funny because, like, sometimes you just don't even know who you're working with. But I went back to like an old episode a long time ago, and I was looking at it. And the guy that played my abusive boyfriend was Jason Patrick.
Oh wow!
And who was he was a big actor in the '80s. I actually don't know what he's up to now, but he was a really good actor.
Yeah.
So he played my abusive boyfriend, and then years later, when I actually became an exercise instructor many years later. And I was teaching spinning, and I was this very popular spinning instructor, and Jason Patrick came to my class, and he was a little aloof, and I was setting him up on the bike, and, as a teacher, you kind of always want to see, like, kind of access the person, sort of your job to get through to them. And I was like, hey, do you know the show Detective in the House? He's like, yeah, that was my first job.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you played my abusive boyfriend. So it was like an icebreaker before his spinning class. And then I got to get back at him, teach a really hard class.
Yeah. Well, Jackie Gleason is his grandfather, so aloofness runs in the family.
Oh, wow. You know a lot. You're just like a total pop culture...
I'm a geek.
Idiot savant, I was going to say.
Yes.
You're a pop culture geek. Yeah.
So savant is perfect. I have Asperger's syndrome, so yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So that's good for details and
I think
deep into things?
Yes, it's definitely a gift, I have to say.
I bet.
Now, your first movie was Mr. Mom. Was that your first big movie audition?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was. Yeah, I think it probably was. Now, the funny thing about Mr. Mom is it's such a mystery to me because when I was doing Brighton Beach Memoirs, that was my first job, and I still wasn't a SAG member because I was in Actors Equity, right?
Right.
So, like, right before, I think I was in San Francisco, I got Mr. Mom, and they thought I was older because, when you're a young actor, they always tried, at least then, to get somebody that was older to play younger so they wouldn't have to go by the laws of, the laws of the child labor laws.
Right.
And so they thought I was 15, and they thought I was like 18. And I was like, no, actually, I'm not, after I got the job. And they were like, oh, okay, well, they hired me anyway. And they Taft-Hartley'd me, so they basically, paid to get me into SAG. I was like, they had to go with the child labor laws, and they had to fly me into LA from San Francisco because I was doing Brighton Beach. And then they ended up cutting the scenes that I was in, the two scenes. I played a babysitter, and they cut the two scenes I was in. So I didn't even end up in the movie, but I am in the credits.
Oh my
and that
God.
is how I got my SAG card, basically, was doing Mr. Mom. And it's a mystery to me.
Yeah.
I even got it.
I haven't seen the movie in years, so I couldn't picture who you played in the movie. But it's a movie I watched a lot growing up and stuff. I still like it. I have to see it again. I heard that Michael Keaton still has people coming up to him saying that movie changed their lives when it comes to raising kids when you're a working parent.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I bet. I honestly I don't remember the movie. I'm I'm 51 now, so there's a lot of stuff I don't remember. But I don't remember the movie, but I do know that I was cut out of it. And truly, it's a mystery to me. But yeah, Michael Keaton, coincidentally, was a very good friend of Joyce Van Patten, who was played the mom in my play. And so Michael Keaton was I was sort of, Michael Keaton was in the circle, and later my mom actually ended up being his assistant briefly. And so yeah, Michael Keaton was around. He was very popular then, I remember.
Yeah, he was an irreverent stand-up comedian and all that stuff.
Right.
Now you had
Night Shift.
Yeah, Night Shift, Johnny Dangerously.
Right. Yeah, Night Shift. I remember Night Shift because that was sort of his breakout role, and he was really good at that. I remember he was so memorable. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great actor.
He's great in everything. Yeah.
Great in everything.
Now you had a recurring role on Cheers that ended up becoming a spin-off called The Tortellis.
Yes, I did. That was a great experience. Yeah, when I was 17. So when I was in New York, this is a story that I tell sometimes, to my friends. But so I used to visualize myself. Cheers was my dad's favorite show. Before I went to New York to do Brighton Beach, and I used to, when I was in my apartment in New York on the Upper East Side, I would listen to the Cheers theme song and visualize myself as Rhea Perlman's daughter on the show.
Yeah.
And so that was when I was 15, and then when I was 17, years later, I'd forgotten that I even had that that I was dreaming of that. and I went on an audition at Paramount to play Rhea Perlman's daughter-in-law, or their daughter-in-law to be, and she was supposed to be like a carbon copy of Rhea Perlman.
Mm.
And this casting director, who he's since not with us anymore, Brandy Stone, who I loved, he brought me in for that, and he really worked with me because I was actually, like I said earlier, I was very shy.
Mm.
So, that role that I actually ended up being sort of typecast in a lot was this sort of wisecracking, like just this tough chick, and like this tough Boston chick. And I worked really hard to come out of my shell and like be that girl. And I ended up getting that role. I remember the audition for James Burrows, and I remember him to tell me to act like a fishwife. And I remember like throwing my jacket off during the audition and all the, like these kinds of things. And and then working on Cheers was a really, really fun experience because that cast, I mean, they were a very close cast. I think that episode, the first episode I did, was on a week when they were shooting 2 episodes, and it was actually Woody Harrelson's first week on the show. So I got to experience like Woody at his first table read, which, by the way, he had memorized all of his lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's like unheard of, for a sitcom, because you start at the beginning of the week. By the end of the week, you usually have a totally different script. But he was off book, and he was just brilliant. So that was the episode that I was in, one of the episodes that I was in. That was Sherilyn Fenn played my
I love her.
cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she played my cousin. She was like a stage player, actually, and I'm just like going to be name dropping like the whole time, just because I feel like the more names that I drop, the more interested you're.
That's okay.
I'm not really that person, but I'm just like I'm just pulling out all this. But Sherilyn Fenn came like the last 2 days, and she and her boyfriend were, we all hung out up in the, like up in the rafters, because it's blocking days and you're not in every scene. So we got really close, like for those 2 days. And I remember like after that, I ran into her, she and her boyfriend, like on Sunset Boulevard. We all pulled over and we talked. And then years later, I realized, oh, that was Johnny Depp. Like that was her boyfriend, was Johnny Depp. And so like, just that, back in the 80s, the young actors of the 80s, I was just like bumping up against all these people,
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun time.
Yes, lots of great shows, lots of great movies in that era. It was so
Totally.
awesome.
Yeah, and then the Tortellis, and then they did a spin-off of Cheers, which a lot of people don't know that before Frasier there was the Tortellis, which was the spin-off, which was Nick Tortelli and Loretta, played by Dan Hedaya and Gene Kasem.
Right.
They and she was sort of like the dumb blonde, and he was like this just this seedy kind of this weasel. And
Yeah.
they were like the main characters, and then Timothy Williams and I, Timothy Williams played his son. We were characters on the show as well, and that was, we shot that right on the lot, next door to the Cheers set. So it felt like somehow it was like we were all part of the same family, the same writers and same producers, and it was that show. They really tried to make it work, and we didn't get picked up right away, and then I think they shopped it around and got it picked up somewhere else. It lasted a long time, and then when it got canceled after 13 episodes, which, by the way, like during those 13 episodes, I worked with Charo, I worked with, like all these random people, but it was super interesting, like to work with Charo. Then after they got canceled, they brought my character, Timothy Williams' character, back on to Cheers for a number of episodes, and again, it was just like a lot of fun. That was just, good times. Oh.
Yeah, and then your next short-lived series was Dirty Dancing.
Yes, then there was Dirty Dancing. That came, let's say, I probably was around 20. Yeah, and so Dirty Dancing was obviously they had the movie Dirty Dancing, and then they made it into a TV series. And Melora Hardin, who was actually my acting teacher from Young Actors Space, Diane, was her mom. And Melora and I had been friends since we were, like 13. So we've been friends for a while. And I think Melora may have recommended me to Steve Tisch for Dirty Dancing. And what they did was they cast the baby character, which was the Jennifer Grey character. Melora was cast as that character. And so Melora is not very, Jewy, So they created a character, which was my character, her cousin, called Robin Kellerman. And she kind of took on the ethnicity of the show. And she was, boy crazy. And she was also kind of uptight. But then I remember there's some scenes in that. There's always some dancing scene that I end up doing somehow, where they go to where the cool kids are doing their dancing, and I see this really, this cute black guy, and I kind of follow him in. It's exciting for me. And so that was Dirty Dancing was fun. That was a lot of blow drying of the hair, a lot of hair and makeup hours. I remember that show being.
And Paul Feig was on there.
Was in that, and Paul Feig, who actually became, Paul's a big director now, big maker.
Ghostbusters, Bridesmaids, all those movies. Yeah. Yeah.
That was fun.
Constance.
And I recently ran into Patrick Cassidy and Constance. I still kind of run into all those people, and it's always good to see those people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was Dirty Dancing.
I never saw the series because it wasn't on long enough when I was 5, but I saw the movie, of course, when it came out. I honestly didn't like it, and I still don't.
Oh, you did, because you couldn't relate, right? What's in it for you?
Yeah, I mean,
that was for me, that was a fun movie because first of all, it's about a cute little Jewish girl that meets a super handsome. It's kind of oh yeah, that could be me. And the dancing was fun. That was definitely a movie that all of us, we all loved that movie. I would have loved to have been in the movie. And the series was fun too. Let's see. Kenny Ortega. He choreographed it. He's the director now too. It was great. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
He directed Hocus Pocus later. Now, I like chick flicks, don't get me wrong, but if it's a chick flick I can relate to, then, I'll love it. But, Dirty Dancing, I can't relate to, even though I do like the fact that it takes place in the 60s, because I love 60s nostalgia.
Right, yeah. So, what chick flicks what do you like as a chick flick? What's your...
Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion. Okay. That's one. Got it. Now and Then, which is kind of like a female version of Stand By Me. Several others I can't even think of right now. But, yeah, those are just to name a few.
Right, yeah.
Now, here comes the classic Teen Witch. And I was about 6 or 7. I would see it on Halloween every year on Cinemax. And... it was a staple of my childhood. I had a crush on you in this movie.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow. Of all the girls in that movie, you had a crush on me?
Yes.
Wow. That's sweet. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I have a tendency to gravitate towards, tomboy-looking girls who can make a wisecrack and, rap pretty good.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. That's me. All the way. Yeah. Or maybe you just say that to all your guests.
I do, only because I've always been a horny guy.
Right, basically, okay, so I just won't take this too seriously. We'll keep it casual.
Yes, keep it casual.
Okay, so how old were you when you were into that movie?
I started 6 or 7, around that time.
Got it, yeah. Yeah, so you used to watch it. So look, of all the movies, that was definitely not anything that I ever thought was going to, when I made that movie, there was no such thing as the internet. It wasn't even. It's like if something went to cable, it's like you'd never see it. You know what I mean? It was like that was a whole new idea of like movies going to cable and then playing over and over again. So I honestly, when that movie opened, I mean, you probably know the facts better than I do, but I know that it tanked, and I know that when I went to see that movie in the theater, it was me, my friends Talia and Mimi, and like I think a homeless person came into the theater because it was raining outside, and that was the whole audience watching Teen Witch in Hollywood, and that's what I remember. And little did I know that movie was going to continue on for decades. And I mean, it's amazing how it just keeps going. It's like it has this appeal with kids, with young kids, and then it has a huge it has a huge gay following, so it's like there's this whole cult classic vibe of Teen Witch, and then for whatever reason, Top That became sort of like the signature scene of the movie, which is what can I say? I honestly never expected that, and I've accepted it now. I've gotten used to it. But perhaps this will be, of all the things that I do in my life, it'll be the thing that it will be the most sort of well-known thing.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Among certain people.
When the internet came, so many cult movies I grew up watching got an audience that I was just stunned by because I thought I was the only one who liked them when I was growing up. Like, Night of the Comet?
I don't.
Yeah, it's about these two valley girls who they're the last two girls on Earth, and there's like zombies attacking Los Angeles. That movie was one of my favorites growing up, and it's become a cult phenomenon. When I go to conventions, there's just people there who just love it. And the two stars of the movie, Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney, are good friends of mine. Catherine's been on the podcast 4 times, and
wow.
It's.
What do you talk about with her 4 times? Like, I mean, how do you do that? Like, what? Like, you guys just talk about other things, or is it just she had so much? She actually she worked a lot.
Yes.
In the 80s.
Yeah, well, for podcasts, I mean, we've mixed it up. We've talked a lot about movies we didn't get to talk about last time, and we just talk about casual stuff.
Yeah, because she was she definitely was in like one John Hughes movie, but maybe multiple, right?
Actually, she was not in any John Hughes movies. I think you got her mixed up with Mary Stuart Masterson.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She was in.
Now I seem like I'm 100 years old. I just did that.
She was in Some Kind of Wonderful.
Who's Catherine Mary Stewart? Familiar. Was she on a soap opera?
Yes, she was. She was on Days of Our Lives. She played Kayla.
Yeah. So my best friends growing up, they were into Days of Our Lives. So I hopefully I'm going to Google this just to make sure that I have a true visual.
Yes, and she was also in The Last Starfighter. You remember that movie?
See, here's the thing with me. Because were you an actor as well? Are you an actor?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, it's I was when I was working, I was focused on getting jobs, and acting and doing my own work. So I think I missed out on some things. You know what I mean? I think I missed out on some people. Hold on, I'm looking her up.
Did you miss out on Weekend at Bernie's?
Yourself, or maybe you'd like to look her up with me, along with me, as I do. Catherine Mary Stewart. Images. Oh yeah, she was Bo's girlfriend, right?
Yeah, she was in.
Together.
She was in Weekend at Bernie's. She was in a lot of movies.
She's blonde now.
Yeah, she dyes her hair back and forth to brown to blonde.
Yeah, I remember her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right, back to things that I could talk to you about.
Yeah. So when you did Top That and Teen Witch, I mean, did that take a lot of rehearsal?
Okay, so again,
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, this, by the way, is the 30-year anniversary this year. So
Yep.
like, of when it came out. So this is like 30 years ago, and a lot was going on in my life at that time. So, what I do remember, here's the deal with Top That. It
Mm-hmm.
was a reshoot. So we did the whole movie, and then after the movie, they decided to add some extra scenes to like enhance the movie, and that rap was one of them. So it definitely required learning the song, recording the song, and then also rehearsing dance rehearsals. Believe it or not, that was a rehearsed, choreographed dance.
I believe it.
That Noah and I got together and did, and I can't remember how many times. He actually has a better memory than I do about this, but he has said that we rehearsed together, and then I want to say like a week or two, you know what I'm saying? And then like doing it on the screen, you know, like I basically was surprised because I was like, okay, wait a second. So my character likes this, like Noah's character, yes, I didn't know that. Like, I did not know that the whole time that I was shooting the movie. I didn't know that my character liked this character. So there had already been scenes shot where we're in the same scene together, and you know, it turns out there was a whole subtext going on that was not present for me.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned about that, and then I was like, and I have to rap. Like, I didn't, when I signed up for the movie, when I signed up to do the movie, I, you know, didn't know that I had a musical number.
Yeah.
So a lot of things were sprung on me, you know, at once. And so I think I was pretty nervous about doing it, you know, like that it was how it was going to come off. You know, I was worried about, you know, saving face. And I think that what I just ended up doing was just, you know, as I, and, you know, in life this works too, but it's kind of like I just had to throw down and I just went for it and full commitment. So that's what I did, and I can't remember like anything else except for I just kind of went for it, and thought, okay, well, it doesn't matter. Nobody's ever going to see this, so like, don't worry about it. And you know, then it turned into the, you know, this viral thing that if I want to go down that rabbit hole, I can find a lot of stuff. There's a lot of people who have reenacted it.
Yep.
There are. It was mentioned on 30 Rock, and like Andy Samberg did one. I mean, it's like a thing. So everybody wants to do the Top That scene, and I don't even know why. Like, do you? Having been a fan of it?
I think it's just because, you know, I mean, it was just so nerdy and outrageous, you know, and the fact that she gave you the power to do it, you know, because, you know, you just had low confidence that you were never going to be hip, and so she gave you the power to do it. I think maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Like, what everybody wants to, it's like, I want to do that, you know, like they see it and then they want to do it, which is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, you know, people are having a good time, makes people happy. Who am I to judge?
I've been tweeting Robin forever to be on the podcast, and last week she finally liked my comment, and I was like, "Is that a yes?"
Yeah. Well, you know, she's, you know, Robin. Maybe when she hears what I did, it's with it. You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Yeah, like all those people, like I listened to the Maddie Harmon one that you did because actually Maddie, I haven't seen her in so long, but I just went to see her one person show that she created.
Yeah, I'm so proud of her.
Oh my God, me too, and it was so good. And you know, I mean, anyway, so I listened to that a little bit, and actually Tom Matthews.
Yeah.
I listened to a little bit. I kind of just, you know, checked out the people who I know that did your show. A lot of people did your show.
Oh, I've just been so fucking blessed. I'll tell you. I've talked to so many people I never thought in a million years I would talk to. People I haven't even met at conventions. It's just amazing, you know. And I'm a little embarrassed now that you listened to the Maddie one because the audio was a little low on that one.
No, it's fine. You know, it's fine. I listened to it. You also told her you had a crush on her, though. I did hear that. So
Yes,
you know, I'm on to you.
If I have a crush on you, I tell you to your face. That's who I am.
I hear you. So, who's been your favorite interview?
Oh my God, I don't have a particular favorite. I have a whole slew of them. I mean,
how about like who's the one that you thought you would never get so far that you've gotten? Like, has there been one that was like, whoa, I can't believe that person actually responded to me?
oh, there's so many. Oh my God. Like, you know, I interviewed David Lander, who played Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my God.
Yeah. I was that I interviewed him. I interviewed Samantha Mathis. I didn't think I was going to get an interview with her, but I did. But like my favorites, I gravitate towards the ones who have a good sense of humor and are not easily offended. And I've been blessed to interview a lot of those people, like Catherine Mary Stewart and like Diane Franklin and Jennifer Runyon and oh my God, so many.
Jennifer Runyon. She was on Charles in Charge, right?
Yes, she was.
Oh my God, I loved her because I worked with her on Charles in Charge because I was in like the first season, and she was so nice. I remember that she was really pretty too.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I gotta tell you what I said to her. Oh my God. Okay, she told me, you know, she did the slasher movie, and she worked with that porno star Harry Reams, and she did not know he was a porno. She did not know he was a porno. Yeah, she did not know he was a porno star. And I said, "How did you find out? Did he take it out in front of everybody?" She laughed out loud. I mean, lost it completely. And she was like, "No, and if he did, I probably would have cried."
Right.
And this was like maybe a couple of months before the Me Too movement happened.
Right. Yeah.
So tell me about what made you give up acting and go into yoga?
Well, I mean, it wasn't exactly like that. It was kind of like an organic progression. I continued to act in my 20s. I was physically assaulted and attempted rape when I was 22.
Uh huh.
And I was very good friends with Rebecca Schaefer because I was on my sister Sam as well. And
Right.
Rebecca Schaefer, who was Kovac stalker. These are some light topics, by the way, for your listeners.
It's okay.
She was Kovac stalker, and
Yeah.
that, between those two things, like that kind of happened within a year period. And I really started to be like, what am I doing? You know, like, why am I putting myself out there in the public? Like, this energy is really, you know, I just kind of felt like I felt really vulnerable. And I kept, for me, when I was beaten up, it took me some time. It took a little bit of the risk taker out of me in a way. Like, it not in terms of just doing day-to-day things, but in terms of creatively. It knocked something out of me at that time. And so I continued in class where, you know, as probably with a lot of actors, my greatest times and my greatest work really has been in class, you know, with other actors who are just studying and playing, you know. So I did a lot of that. And at a certain point, I came to a place where I was like, you know, even if I worked as much as I was working, I need to do something where I felt like I needed to be responsible on a daily basis to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started just putting it out there. Like, I would do any job. You know, I was like looking for work. You know, I did work for like 5 years. I had the odd job here and there, meaning the odd acting job, but it just wasn't like it had been. Because I really wasn't into working a room. And then one of the things that I did, it was like I started teaching spinning, And very quickly, it was because I was always like into exercise, and I was sort of like an exercise um, fiend throughout my whole life. Really, it was part of my childhood. It was part of my lifestyle. My dad was like that. I just had always practiced yoga and been physical. And when I was like 28 years old, I guess I started teaching spinning, and my classes got really popular really fast. And it was like a whole other aspect of myself that I hadn't known before, which was this teacher and this inspirational person. And I would create the class very much the way that I would go into a scene, right? So I'd have like my moment before, I'd have the place where I would want the experience where I wanted to land, what the theme was, where I wanted it to end, and then I would take the class through an arc. So basically an experience with obstacles and that we'd overcome and all that. And so I took my acting skills, and including my ability to connect with people and to be in the moment and my humor, and turned it into something that was a totally different thing, which was like basically being a motivational speaker on a bike. And those classes just filled up within 6 months. I was like, I was this teacher that was selling out. It was the way the Soul Cycle is now. This was in '96. I was like, just me back then. And, like celebrities were in my class, and I was in like Best of LA, and I just became popular. So that's how I started as an instructor, and I really enjoyed doing it. And then I had also always yoga was a part of my lifestyle from the time I was a child, because my father was really into yoga. So that's something that I worked in to my repertoire at a certain point. And it just kind of it all started from a few different places. It was like this. My father passed away. He was like the yogi in my life. And then from like 3 different places, people wanted me to teach yoga. And I started doing it. And one of my students, who was my friend, Jennifer Aniston, wanted me to teach her yoga, and turned out to be this like huge part of her life. And she started talking about me, and then I became well known for that. And so I, produced my own DVD called Yogalosophy, and that sold like 150,000 copies. And I wrote a New York Times bestseller. I actually wrote 2 books, Yogalosophy, 28 Days to the Ultimate Mind-Body Makeover, and Yogalosophy for Inner Strength. And so I have my own brand. And it was just one of these organic transitions, basically. So that's how it happened. It just kind of happened out of necessity initially, right? Because I was taken out of the acting because of the sort of event of my life. Then I had this thawing out period where I I was just like letting myself heal. And then a new interest sort of rose that was always something that I was doing anyway. It was a hobby. I thought I was really good at it. And then, the demand was there, and so I went with it. And then that's how that happened.
Wow, that's beautiful. I mean, yoga has been around forever, but in the last 20 years that I've actually been aware of it, I've just seen it take the world by storm. It's like become an American pastime, like baseball.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I feel like I was a part of that somehow, because somehow, Jennifer Aniston, it's like everything that she does, people want to do. It's kind of like this, I think there's even a Jennifer Aniston recognition gene or something. There's something about her people are very drawn to, and, I was the influencer of that person, so that makes me feel like I gave back to yoga a little bit of what it gave to me from my childhood, and, I kind of paid it backward.
Yeah.
So it's yoga is, it's wonderful that it's such a huge part of people's lifestyles at this point.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch the Addams Family TV series, and Gomez practice Zen yogi where he's like standing on his head. Yeah.
Right. That's right. Yeah, because I mean that's when it really. I mean that's when I started. You know, back in like in the 70s, and you know, like that's when it was weird. You know, like that's what I've been doing it since it was weird. You know. Since before there was a yoga community, and now you go to everywhere, like everyone's carrying around a yoga mat, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a little namaste for you. You know, everyone wants to namaste. So yeah.
I haven't reached that point yet where I've tried it, you know, but eventually I will, you know. I'm recovering from a car accident. I do have, you know, a little bit. What's up?
I was in a car accident too.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
What was your car accident?
Mine was 4 years ago.
Oh, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, and like, you know, I mean, I do have post-traumatic stress disorder, and you know, maybe eventually I will try yoga, and maybe it can like help me through it and stuff. You know, I was thinking about that recently.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of if you were thinking about it, I mean, you know, getting over, I don't know, like how much you've explored getting over trauma. How much have you explored it?
I have. I haven't had any nightmares in a while about it, but I do think about it quite often. You know.
What happened? I mean, maybe we can do that offline, but.
Oh, I don't mind telling you because I've told it a million times on this podcast. So,
okay.
Me and a guy who was no longer my friend, we were coming back from San Francisco, and we were drinking, and I fell asleep in the passenger seat. He fell asleep in the car. We ended up in the middle of the road. We got out okay, but then a car collided with ours, and the impact hit us. I got the worst of the injuries, and I got into a coma for 30 days.
Whoa! Wow! I'm so sorry. What were your injuries?
Let's see.
What caused the coma? What put you in a coma?
Well, this is what happened. I broke my leg in 7 places. I crushed my sternum. I got a mild heart attack. They had to put a stent in me.
Oh my gosh.
Broke some teeth. Fractured my hand. I had like 12 surgeries, and I don't even remember like most of them.
Wow.
It was pretty bad. And I woke up on my mom's birthday.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm lucky to be alive. Really lucky.
Wow.
And he got a couple injuries, but not as bad as mine. He was out of the hospital in a month. I was there 5 months.
Wow.
And yeah, so do you think I'm a good candidate for yoga?
I don't know. You know, you have to. I mean, like that's. You know, people people think of yoga as like this Band-Aid for everything.
Yeah.
And I don't. It's not always. It's not always. So you really have to try it.
Right.
And I would definitely go to somebody that does more like, you know, like that's familiar with doing yoga for. I mean, did you say your back was your back okay?
My back is fine.
That's good. Your spine was okay. That's really good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my mom told me that I had some bones sticking out in the back for a little bit, but they were able to just fix it, and it's not noticeable.
This is an awful story. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry for telling it to you.
Edit this out. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, well, but the 4 years, you know, your body's probably ready to do stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I had physical therapy in the hospital, which was tough because, you know, you're in bed for all this time and you get up and you're so lightheaded. You just want to, like, you know, go back to bed.
I honestly can't even imagine, like, when you said that and when I I can't even imagine. I mean, it's because I felt like my accident was bad, but I knew I was lucky. But like honestly,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's that's quite something. I'm glad you survived, and yeah, you'll find whatever it is. I mean, I feel like the healing process is very intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been through more than one trauma. All of my traumas, it's like I've had to kind of find my way through, and I've discovered things along the way. And I think the discovery is part of the healing, um, in a way, seeking it out.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you'll find the thing that's right for you. If you're feeling attracted to yoga, I definitely would, it's easy to research it on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
yoga for somebody that's been in a major car accident.
Mm-hmm.
I
What
would do that.
What were your injuries though?
Well, it was nothing compared to you. I mean, I was T-boned on the left side, and so I had 4 broken ribs. My spine was broken down to my sacrum. My sacrum was broken. My sternum was broken. My lung was punctured. I had a bleed behind my sternum, and I had a lacerated spleen, a grade 3 spleen laceration, which ruptured, and they didn't know that I was a trauma patient. So basically, you can live without your spleen, but you can also bleed out of your spleen really quickly. So
Oh.
for that reason, it was like a pretty close experience. But I never went unconscious. I was not drunk. I never went unconscious. I remember the whole thing, and I was in the hospital for 6 days. And I definitely, I definitely had to come back from that um, from that experience, but nothing compared to what you went through. But it's like mine seems like a tricycle ride in the park compared to what you just described.
Oh, but yours was pretty bad though.
It was a bad one. I mean, I'm lucky to be alive for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and I healed very quickly, and it might be due in part to the fact that my, like I am in good condition. However, I was fortunate, just as you said, your friend was fortunate in that, like I definitely had some injuries, but my spine wasn't affected. I didn't have any head injuries. There was a lot that did not happen. You know what I mean? And I was able to manage my pain pretty well because of my ability to focus on the parts of my body that felt really good, which my legs were fine. Like that broken leg, that's really difficult. My legs were okay. I could. I was on enforced bed rest for 3 days, and I couldn't but laying down and getting up. It took me a while to be able to pull covers up over myself. Like it took me a few weeks to be able to pull my covers and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm still I'm still alive and kicking.
What year was that?
It was in April. It was in May, April 30th of 2018.
Oh, so it was a year ago.
It was 9 months ago.
Yeah, almost a year ago. Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny, you're my 365th interview, and I've interviewed so many people, and I've gotten turned down by a ton of people too. And I'm thinking to myself the other day, God, I mean, who's left? I mean, I have a bunch of emails pending of people to be on the podcast. And I thought, I should reach out to Polly from Teen Witch.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think, God finally brought us together for a reason,
Yeah, I mean, we live to tell. We live to tell. I guess that's, it's amazing how resilient people are. We're so fragile on the one hand, and yet we're so resilient on the other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sort of interesting paradox of life, right? It's like you're here until you're not.
Yeah.
I love that. And let's wrap it up now because I actually I have to get on another phone call. But I
Okay.
recently, I guess my friend told me about Jeff Bridges' Golden Globe speech, and I don't know, did you see it?
I heard about it.
Yeah, so I just Googled it it last night, actually, and I watched it, and it's so much about, he talked about how we're here, you know? He's like, he was talking about how there was a role that he was going to play, and the director was like, he was like, you know what, you should just fire me because, like, I don't even know, like, I'm not feeling this guy, you know, you should just fire me now. And the director said, hey, you know that game, like, Tag, you're it? He's like, Tag, you're it. You're the guy. You know, it's happening. And so basically, what he was talking about is, you know, in a way, we're all it. It was such I mean, there's more to the story. He was talking about a rudder, how it's so hard to turn around a big ship, but then they put a little rudder on top of a rudder.
Yeah.
Right? And like that we're each that little rudder, like that. We can't turn the whole ship around, but we can affect the rudder that turns the ship around. And so in that way, we're all the rudder. So we're all it. We're all responsible to be here until we're not, you know? Mm. I really like that. I need that kind of inspiration right now in my life, you know? So I really, I appreciated that. And, you know, he's certainly one of those, I mean, my gosh, you know, he's like one of the greatest actors of all time. But
oh, yeah, he's in my top 10 list.
Yeah. I mean, what a humble guy. And I guess that's the thing, right? It's like, I've noticed that the more powerful the person, the more humble.
Right.
And I always have to remember to bring myself down a notch too. You know, like I can get puffed up a little bit on myself, and so I always have to remember, like, just to like keep it a little low. You know, stay low to the ground. You know, on some level.
Right.
And right. So anyway, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Yes.
And
Mandy, do you have anything you'd like to plug real quick?
Gosh, I got nothing to plug. I guess I'll just plug good vibes.
Well, Mandy,
people can visit me at my Instagram. It's like Instagram, I'm Mandy Ingber, Twitter, Ms. Mandy Ingber, Facebook, Mandy Ingber's Yogalosophy. They want to get Yogalosophy, you know, it's my DVD or my book. It's all that's out there.
Mm-hmm. Mandy, thank you so much. You are a credit to the Jewish people.
Oh, yes? Well, good. I'm glad I make my people proud.
You're a female mensch.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was such an honor, and you have yourself a great day.
You too.
Okay.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Mandy Ingber. Ain't she a sweetheart? Oh, my God. She is so much fun, Mandy. You are just awesome, and you really are a female version of Mensch. A credit to the Jewish people, and an amazing person for surviving your accident. I knew something in my brain told me that this was going to be a good interview, and something was going to happen for a reason, and we had our car accidents to compare to bring it all together. So I thank you. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes. Top that. Top that.